What you're about to hear is a chilling story narrated by Dark Waters. Dark personally talks to these people that report these events. Sometimes he tells his personal story, and sometimes, every now and then, he'll play their actual voices. But what you're about to hear are stories of true accounts that happened. Keep in mind, Dark doesn't report and produce every story he is told. In fact, through a careful selection process, he has his own methods of detecting if the person reporting the experience is telling him true accounts of what they experienced, or if they're not. Prepare yourself for what you're about to hear. For more stories like these, head over to IamDarkWaters.com for more content from the King of Horror, Dark Waters.
Nogales straddles the border between the United States and Mexico. It's a town divided in half. It's through here that cartel gangs oversee the illegal smuggling of people to the United States, a growing number of whom come from all over the world, not just Latin America. We're traveling to a secret location to meet the people who make the crossing possible. They're part of the Sinaloa Cartel, a vast, powerful crime organization. They traffic people these days, but their business was founded on drugs. They take both businesses very seriously. The success of the people smuggling operation is founded on the now well-documented but nonetheless staggering efficiency of the drug cartels to move their product. It can be drugs, of course, but it can be people as well. The business depends on the link between the various gangs over vast distances to coordinate the movement of the cargo. This gang has been able to move people and drugs across the border for years. It's a sophisticated business. From overwatch positions, cartel scouts monitor the movement of US border patrols and can simply direct drug mules and people smugglers when the way is clear. We found them. They didn't like it. Message clear. Go away. The 2,000-mile-long border is for large sections, little more than a wire fence with a few bits of old railway line welded together. It might stop cattle, but not much else. Cartel and crime gangs across Latin America and beyond are focused on getting people and drugs to the United States. It's a battle, and by and large, the smugglers are winning.
Let me start off by saying this before I tell you my story. I listen to a lot of these podcasts and YouTube videos where people tell stories and they have interviews about Dogman. And people pass off falsehoods as if it's truth. Now, there are a couple of things that I'm 100% certain of as it pertains to Dogman. Number one, they're not a fucking pet. You can't touch them, you don't walk up to them, and they don't allow you to play with their pups. Number two, they will fuck your entire world up. How do I know? Because I've experienced it. And number three, they can be injured and killed, but it's extremely difficult to do. Why? Because these things not only have above normal intelligence, but they're fast and strong. And by strong, I mean extremely strong. Again, I tell you this from first-hand experience. Let me tell you a little bit about me. 2014. I went undercover working as a DEA agent, a joint task force between the DEA, Border Patrol, and ATF. By 2016, I had survived undercover inside the cartel longer than any other U.S. law enforcement agent. It was back then that I contacted Dark Waters with my stories about Dogman. He and I connected through a mutual friend who was an FBI agent out of San Diego, California. And I know for a fact he's disclosed that gentleman's stories to you because I've heard him on his channel. Mid-2015, I was involved in an incident along the U.S. border that hit the national news. In order to keep my cover and make sure that I stayed alive, I did a number of things that under normal circumstances I would not have done. In turn, by mid-2016, the majority of the people involved in this task force felt I was compromised, and the only person that was supporting me was my boss. Now, to some of you listening to this story, this point is completely irrelevant. But for others who will hear this story, it's very important that I say this. If it wasn't for him, I would have died in the hands of the cartel. So to that man, I'm eternally grateful and thankful. Now that's all out of the way, let's get back to Dogman. So the deeper I worked my way undercover into the cartel, it became harder and harder for me to break away and communicate with the task force. So I devised a communication method that involved leaving notes at the base of certain trees. Now, a lot of this was being covered up in American news. There were these trees. They were called rape trees. And unfortunately, these are the places where women and some children who were being smuggled into America were being raped and molested. After the evil deed had been done, their panties or underwear were taken and hung up in the trees. And it was at the base of one of these trees where I was crouched down digging a hole in order to put one of my messages where I encountered Dogman. Back in those days, our base of operation was Santa Cruz, Mexico. Now, I was just west of the city, like I said, digging at the base of one of those trees, when I hear this screeching sound. Turning and looking around, there are 3 of these things running full speed on all 4s towards the US border. Now, in order for you to understand this, everyone has seen a standard sized dog. And then majority of the people in the world have seen a larger breed of dog. But what I need you to understand is, think about the largest breed of dog you've ever seen. Make it 7 to 8 times bigger. That's exactly what I was looking at, running full speed. And in that moment, I knew this was no regular dog or a wolf. It was way too big. These things were moving at least 30 to 40 miles per hour. And I found myself no more than 75 to 80 yards away from him. Keep in mind, this is broad daylight, and I see these things. Now I'm there trying to keep as still as possible. And honestly, I don't even think I took a breath until they were out of sight. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Dark Waters, and I'm back. For you members at IamDarkWaters.com, if you did get the email, if you didn't get the notification from the website, I'm telling you now, here on YouTube, head on over and listen to the whole story. For those of you who haven't signed up and haven't become a member yet, listen, man, I don't know what to tell you. You got to get it together, baby. $4.99. It's cheap. It's the same price as a cup of coffee. Tomorrow morning, one of y'all going to get up, ride in the Starbucks drive-thru and gonna ask for a caramel latte, mocha latte, chocolate. You're gonna want cinnamon and cream and all the rest of that. Tomorrow, when you buying that coffee and whatever little biscuit you get, because on average it's gonna cost you $10. When you start eating and start drinking, I want you to think to yourself, man, I could have bought the membership to Dark Waters with one of these trips. I'm spending $4, $5, $10 a day going to Starbucks, almost $300 a month, maybe in some cases $100 a month. I could have gave Dark Waters $4.99, helped them grow out his platform and make things happen. For those of you who are not aware, there's a reason why we're building our own platform. Go back and look at what's going on YouTube. I'm not going to reiterate it. I'm not going to go over it all again, because those who know, those who don't know, then you just don't understand. But join the family, baby. Hop on the Dark Waters train. It's moving, and it's going to keep moving. It ain't going nowhere. I love those of you who've already supported. I appreciate each and every one of you who listen on YouTube. And for those of you who don't want to support, I still love you anyway, baby. God bless you. It's your boy, Dark Waters, and I'm out.